Hello hockey fans and welcome back to another episode of Right Player, Wrong Team, the series where we look back at players who spent much of their careers as the face of a franchise, but for one reason or another, they also took to the ice in a short, forgettable stint with a completely different team. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at one of the NHL's greatest snipers ever and his brief trip to the Arizona desert, as we explore Brett Hull's short stint with the Phoenix Coyotes. Now, I'm sure that most of you watching this are already familiar with the key moments, or even the majority of Hull's 20-year NHL career, but allow me to briefly summarise his pre-Phoenix days so we all know why he joined the Coyotes when he did. The 117th overall pick of the 1984 NHL entry draft by the Calgary Flames, Brett Hull would spend the first few seasons of his pro career bouncing between the NHL and the minors, finally earn a full-time spot on the Flames roster for the 87-88 NHL season, score 50 points in 52 games, before being traded to the St. Louis Blues on March 7, 1988. Over his next 10 seasons, Hull would become known as one of the best goal scorers the NHL has ever seen, posting two 70-goal seasons and an astonishing 86-goal season in 1990-91, en route to notching 527 goals and 936 points in just 744 regular season games. Oh, and he was also named a 7-time All-Star, a first-team All-Star 3 times, and received a Hart Memorial, a Lady Byng, and a Lester B. Pearson Award. So yeah, Hull was a stud. Having failed to get his hands on a championship during his decade wearing the music note, Hull decided to head off in search of a new home, signing a 3-year, $17 million contract with the Dallas Stars on July 2, 1998. During his time down south, Hull would notch 95 goals and 196 points in 218 regular season games, as well as 46 points in 55 playoff games, the most notable of them being the infamous foot-in-crease goal against the Buffalo Sabres to help Dallas clinch their first Stanley Cup championship in 1999. Oh, and he also made his 8th and final appearance at the NHL All-Star Game too, just in case you thought he was done being a superstar in the league or something. Once his contract with Dallas was up, Hull, who was now 37 years old, knew that his time in the league was fast approaching its expiration date, and he wanted to lift the Stanley Cup at least once more before he decided to hang up his skates. So, on August 23, 2001, Hull headed to Hockeytown and moved to a team primed for a championship, as he signed a 2-year, $9 million contract with the Detroit Red Wings. During this deal, Hull would continue to show glimpses of the goal-scoring machine that he had been in years past, and was still a very productive player, as he notched 67 goals and 139 points in 164 regular season games. Not only that, but his 18-point campaign during the 2002 playoffs helped Hull get his hands on the much-desired second championship, as Detroit defeated the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games to clinch the 2002 Stanley Cup. After spending another year with the Red Wings during the 03-04 season on a 1-year, $5 million contract, and having scored 25 goals and 68 points in 81 games, the 40-year-old forward still felt that he had some gas left in the tank. However, the Red Wings weren't too interested in re-signing him, so Hull became an unrestricted free agent and looked to take his talents elsewhere. Though the Dallas Stars appeared to be on the verge of signing Hull to a 1-year contract in order to bring him back to Texas, the American forward would end up moving to a different team instead. On August 5, 2004, it was announced that Brett Hull had signed a 2-year, $4.5 million contract with the Phoenix Coyotes. Why Phoenix, I hear you ask? Well, the Coyotes franchise, which were known as the Winnipeg Jets between 1972 and 1996, was where Brett's Hall of Fame father Bobby had plied his trade for parts of 8 seasons between 1972 and 1980, 7 of which while they were still playing in the World Hockey Association, and 1 after they joined the NHL in 1979. During his stint in Winnipeg, Bobby Hull would not only become a superstar in the WHA, but he would go down as one of the franchise's greatest players ever, scoring 307 goals and 648 points in just 430 total games, as well as earn the prestigious honour of having his jersey retired by the team in 1989. So by joining the Coyotes, Brett Hull would finish his career with the organisation his father had spent a large chunk of his career with, and was following in the footsteps of both his biggest role model and one of the greatest players the hockey world had ever seen. So now that we know why Hull joined the Coyotes, let's take a look at what happened once he made it to Phoenix, and see why his stint in Arizona would be far from memorable. Hull may have signed with Phoenix for the next 2 years, but unfortunately his debut with the team would have to wait. In fact, it would have to wait for quite a while, as the 04-05 lockout wiped out the entire first year of his contract. So just like that, half of the time that Hull was expected to play for the team was gone in the blink of an eye. I wonder how well he would have played if the season had actually gone ahead though. I doubt he would have matched his numbers with the Red Wings, but I'm pretty sure that Hull was still capable of producing a 35 to 40 point season, which for a 40-year-old forward is nothing to laugh at, but I digress. When the labour dispute was eventually resolved and hockey returned for the 05-06 season, Hull, now 41 years old, would finally get the chance to make his long-awaited debut with the team, putting on the Coyotes jersey for the very first time on October 5th, 2005, as Phoenix visited the Vancouver Canucks. Despite the hype, Hull's debut with the Coyotes would be pretty uneventful, as he went scoreless and posted a -1 on the stat sheet. That said, he didn't have to wait too long to register his first point with the team, as he notched an assist the very next day against the Los Angeles Kings. This lone point would quite literally be the only highlight of Hull's time in Arizona, as he would go scoreless in his next 4 games and post a -2 in the process. Having played 5 games in a Coyotes jersey and having scored just a single point for his efforts, Hull felt that he was no longer able to play at the high level that he had in years prior and that he expected of himself. So, on October 15th, 2005, Hull shocked the entire NHL as he announced his retirement from professional hockey just a few weeks into the season. So after signing a 2-year contract with the team back in 2004, Brett Hull would end up spending just 9 days on the Phoenix Coyotes roster, where he scored a single point and posted a -3 in just 5 games. This is probably going to be one of the shortest stints that we ever look at in this series. I mean, 9 days! I've had vacations that have lasted longer than that. Hell, I've had pimples that have lasted longer than that. Following his incredibly short stint with the Coyotes, Brett Hull would hang up his skates, call it a day on his career, and return to Texas, where he joined the Dallas Stars front office as a team consultant for the 06-07 season. Over the next 5 years, Hull would remain in Dallas and serve several different front office roles, including the general manager of the team and the executive vice president of hockey operations. During this time off the ice, Hull would also receive some of the greatest honours a hockey player could, as his iconic number 16 was retired by the St. Louis Blues in 2006, and he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2009. After leaving the Stars in 2011, Hull would spend a few years away from any official job with the team until 2013, when he returned to St. Louis to serve as the Blues' Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, a role he would fill for the next 5 seasons until 2018. Not only that, but Hull would receive another huge accolade for his on-ice achievements, as he was named one of the NHL's top 100 players ever in 2017. Brett Hull remains as an important figurehead of the Blues organisation to this very day. His love of the team and his dedication to the city was never shown more perfectly than when he gave an iconic speech at the Blues' 2019 victory parade when the team finally won their first Stanley Cup last season. He may not have brought the cup to St. Louis himself, but him being around to celebrate it with them sure did make the victory taste a little sweeter. Though he may be remembered most for his high-scoring days in St. Louis, his cup-clinching goal in Dallas, and his later years in Detroit, during the twilight years of his career, Brett Hull would join the Phoenix Coyotes in the hopes of following in his father's footsteps and concluding the legacy of the league's greatest father-son duo the right way as he rode off into the Arizona sunset. However, thanks to a season-long lockout, him being 41 years old and his play not being up to his usually high standards, Hull would don the Coyotes jersey for just 9 days and suit up with the team in only 5 games of his 1,200-game career. He may not have played there for very long, but he did play there, no matter how forgettable it really was. And that's how Brett Hull's brief stint with the Phoenix Coyotes made him the right player on the wrong team. What do you guys think about Hull's week-long trip to Arizona? Also, do you have another player that you would like me to look at as part of this series? Let me know in the comments below, I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys, I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye! A big thank you to Antti Hannanen, Chris Gadsby, Connor B, John Plomin, Jordan Whitehead, Martin Tolness, Paul Mallia, Roman from London, The Legacy, and Worthless Pieces for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.